Hello guys, welcome back. Forgive the hair. I do conditioner every night and it does this to me. It's me. Anyhow, um, well, she's back here being a distraction. Hello, princess. Anyhow, o Odin has found someone he loves to fight with more than me. Because I have to get this out of the way. Because I'm sad. We don't fight anymore because he found a new and worthier opponent. And he will just drop his old opponent abruptly and go towards a new one. Asmodeus and Odin love to fight. It's their favorite thing. They're both connected to war, they love to fight, and I can tell they're having pitched battles. And Loki kind of walks over like, this is some good shit. Want some popcorn? Have some popcorn. So, so he's happy. And Loki and I just, yeah, baby, yes, princess. Loki and I just look at each other and he's happy. And one of you had asked if Loki had me lighting a lot more candles, doing a lot more defenses. Well, I've been doing a lot more defensive stuff all of 2020 because 2020, and I'm older, and the older you get, the more paranoid you get, and the more defenses you put up normally. But lately I have been, and I've been noticing Loki is running through stuff, and Loki will play the logical game with you depending on what you're doing. Because sometimes he's not going to tell you. He knew I was too busy trying to put 12 fires out, so he wasn't going to stop me like he stopped some people and say, hey, put up more candles. But he is picking off the lights on his string, though he claims that's just because of the age of the string. But two of the lights on his thing that is lit all day long went out. And that's what I do for my sacrifice now. The gods finally got me to agree. They have the running lights like the light you see. It's back there behind Princess. They have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have to count mentally. I'm a baby. 7 or 8 of those. They run 24/7. When I get up and I have the computer on, there are 2 lights up here on Odin's altar. There's a rack of lights that you saw at the beginning of this channel, um, on Loki's altar. And during the day, I'll light stuff like the string of lights is lit up behind me and stuff like that, especially on rainy days, whatever. It just makes the house look prettier. So that's how I do, my sacrifice, and they'll accept that as sacrifice. The church uses it. The church uses battery-operated candles, so don't burn the damn place down. So you can definitely do battery-operated, and I do some of those. Or you can do electric lights or something. It's the same thing. It's a sacrifice. You spent money on something. Electricity isn't free, so it seems to work on the same magical properties. If you can get candles and light them, that's fine. Then go with according to whatever they want. I know they all do go through periods when they're working on something. They will just blow through a candle. And there will be times at the opposite end of the spectrum where they will make a candle last for days, and it will be like a tiny tea candle or something. And I've seen both ends of the spectrum. This isn't Candles 101, but it's like you can look it up. I don't have to tell you, like, if you're working and like if the chimney cracks or it gets real black or something, then they're removing something or something like that. But also we do have to be logical and a little bit scientific in, well, if the wick's too long, yes, you'll smoke up the chimney, and if the wick is too close to the glass, yes, it'll crack it. So you kind of have to walk in between. Sometimes it is a sign they're cleaning up something, sometimes it's just what it is. But Loki's hasn't specifically told me anything. I looked at him last night after the person asked. He says, well, you've been busy and you've been doing it anyhow. I kind of went into autopilot a couple weeks ago. I've been feeling this nervous energy. Now, we've been having storms for almost 2 weeks, which is weird, even for this area. But it kind of, like, I feel like we're waiting for something, and I am not the top psychic. I'm not even psychic, but I feel like we're waiting for something. So it's just been like, I don't know if it's going to be good or it's going to be bad, so I've just been taking special preparations. I cleaned my house yesterday in like a fury, and I didn't even know why I was doing it. I just cleaned it on Saturday, and I cleaned it like Saturday level on Wednesday. And I said, I don't know, it feels right. And I was just like kind of like really aggravated. So it's something. I don't know if we're all going crazy from this damn presidential election, 2020 itself, the news media being hyper bonkers lately. I try not to look at it or what it is, but as witches we're feeling something, or as pagans or whatever you are. I think even the Christians are feeling it and they're getting kind of edgy. It's just it is change. I do know I looked at my horoscope and what the hell day is it? Saturday. It's sometime soon that we're moving out of the water cycle for one sign and we're going into the air cycle, which is a bonus for people like me because I'm a Gemini. But I'd have to go back and look at it. I'm really bad with astrological charts, and I read one every week. But moving from one to another, some sensitive people could pick that up if you believe in astrology, and if you work with Hermes, I hope for your sake you do. And look, he's giggling back here. He's supposed to be the god of astronomy, astrology. Though many others are said to be the gods of astrology too. Keep in mind if you have somebody giving you a Nordic horoscope, because I'm sure those exist and I've seen them. Those didn't exist. There are a lot of horoscopes out there today that didn't exist in ancient times. They based it off of the traditional horoscope, and that's fine. Just be aware that if you're talking to your ancient ancestor and saying that your moon is in Loki, but your sun's in Odin, they have no idea what the hell you're talking about. So, again, yeah. And, it's one of those things. And, it's been feeling strange. And I know the gods have been kind of getting along, but they kind of seem nervous, and Odin and Asmodeus have found each other, like I said, hopefully in this recording, as opponents, and they're just blowing off steam, going at one another. And since we figured out they're really not trying to hurt each other, they're more or less, I guess you would call it play fighting. They're just trying to assert dominance and see who's the top alpha of the house. We don't care. We just let them go at it. If one of them really gets hurt, then they'll calm down. They won't fight for a little bit. And usually you can tell who made it out on top because the other one comes around, sulks, and you mean, well, what did I tell you? And Odin fights dirty. I can't say for Asmodeus, but yeah, Odin fights dirty. Odin will go for the eyes, pull hair, fight like a mountain man. Plus, remember, he would know just about every combat system to man because the Vikings had a form of wrestling, grappling tactics, plus swordplay, plus everything else. There's nothing he can't fight with, and worst of all, he's confirmed it with me repeatedly. He can indeed appear with two eyes, so his opponents are pretty fucked. But at the same time, Asmodeus is no slouch and was willing to take on a deity, depending on what version of his lore you believe, or he was a deity and took on a entire pantheon of deities. So he likes to fight too. So they like to scrap. So they go back and forth, and they're just trying to establish territory and establish alpha male dominance. And it's interesting. And Loki's been singing the pizza song. He wants me to get a boatload of stuff. We still didn't get the hedges cut, obviously, because we've been getting rain. And so, for almost 2 weeks, I've been nervous about what the hell's this guy gonna charge, but, the demons are working on me about having more trust. And they're right. And they made sure they got everything to their liking. I can tell you this, at least what I'm getting. You can disagree with this. Whatever your instincts are leading you towards, and it feels right for you, do that. If you want to go into one pantheon and that feels right for you, and you don't feel like you're missing out on something, do it and work with that pantheon. But if you want to have everybody that you've ever worked with and get all those contacts going, especially you Geminis, because we should know, do that. Asmodeus has been making sure I'm reestablishing all my old contacts, having good friff because he's picking up lingo from the old man. And, making sure that everyone feels free to come and go. And, he had me talking to the angels last night, and he's dead serious on this, And, make sure that whatever words and protections you're putting up, don't share everything with everybody. It sounds paranoid, but, there are a lot of old-timers pray, one, they're not going to be on the internet talking to anyone. And two, they're never going to tell you what you do. Wicca 101, probably nobody taught you this. Don't tell everybody every protection spell you're doing. Don't tell them every defense you have. You should have defenses people don't know about. And you should layer your defenses to the point where if they're busy trying to get through one thing, something else comes to visit them. Have both offensive and defensive magic. Offensive is pretty easy. It doesn't matter who you work with, whether you work with a god, an angel, or a demon, just if they know that they're going to be, if they agree to be on guardianship level, they will go on offensive quite easily. Plus, you can set up offensive spells. You can set up basically, you can look it up anywhere on the internet, set up mirror spells. I'm not a good teacher. Set up whatever you want, and, anything they're trying is just going to boomerang back on them. And it depends on who you work with, how they're going to respond. If an angel is going to respond a lot differently than, say, a demon or a god, but it depends on the angel. If Gabriel is doing your property protection, it was interesting seeing one gentleman was using Gabriel. And by saying using, I mean working with. Gabriel just won't let people win. Michael will teach them a lesson about trying to get in. That's the difference. It's why a lot of people won't work with Michael, and I will work with Michael pretty extensively because Michael will also teach them a lesson about the error of their ways. What you have to understand is if you're working with Michael, some people will say he left, and some people will say he's still loyal, but whatever you're working with, if you're working with Michael, anything he is guarding is secret territory. Full stop belongs to either the higher power, one of the creator gods, or whomever. You do not, and I can't emphasize this enough, enter that territory or even look at it wrong. He doesn't have Gabriel's really long fuse. And it's interesting because I was talking to those two, and Catholics, it's normal for us to pray to a bunch of saints at once. At least that's how I was brought up. And I talked to Uriel and Raphael, and I picked up a lot of these saints because, interesting side story time, I worked in a religious store in high school years, so decades ago, and she would get things for all the saints. Do you know how many saints I picked up because she thought it was from the devil? I picked up Lazarus, and I picked up all these other saints. And some were just kind of interested and confused that they even had saint medals, and some were whatever. And by the way, Catholic teaching, you don't worship an angel. That's for the creator. You work with them. You can pray to them, but remember, prayer is just like talking to a friend. It's not like you're idolizing them like they're a god. Some people do treat them as demigods. If you're getting away with that, more power to you. I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong. Just realize that if you start telling people on your altar to Michael, you got him all these gifts. Some Catholics are going to interpret that as treating your patron saint really nice because we do buy them presents and everything. And some people are going to translate it to worshiping an angel, and they're going to give you 2,000-year lecture on why that's wrong. So do be aware. And I go, ooh, aren't we loquacious today? I grew up Catholic. I have a scars, man. I earned this shit. I got So he's singing the pizza and the chicken song. He's right. It's been a week. And just make sure you got your defenses set up. I'm not saying a disaster is coming. I'm saying something's coming. Maybe it's training. Given that I work with Odin and Loki, both, sometimes it's just training for something in case something does happen. I don't know. I don't have an inside track, guys. I don't see a comet coming or anything else. Just, be aware. If you're being told to do something, do it. And the thing is, even if 12 different people are you better get your guard up, it could be those 12 different people have a challenge coming into their life that has nothing to do with every human on the planet. So do be aware of that. It's kind of like, well, look at 2020. Look at how people are running around panicking. And everything's a disaster and everything else. And once one person gets infected with, not COVID, with that hysteria, they all take off. And the herd just runs and you can't stop anybody. So, get your protections in order. That's fine. You should have protections in order. But other than that, you don't have to worry about anything. I'm not getting any news, anything's coming on the horizon. I'm very sensitive to energy, so it just might be 2 damn weeks of, rain and thunderstorms is put me a little on edge. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. Oh my god, I went on for 15 minutes. I will see you guys later. Bye bye.